1,500 people are on the Crystal Serenity cruise ship for a journey through parts of the world very few people have seen. They left Alaska for a month-long journey up the northwestern coast of Canada, through the Bering Strait between Russia and the United States, and onto the Arctic Ocean, Greenland and back to the US. But there are safety concerns. During certain parts of the trip, it will be difficult for Canadian or American Coast Guards to reach the ship in case of an emergency. And the few local communities have limited resources.
We have to remember that these communities do not have a fire hall, a hospital, or those things. And so what would be the impact on the local community if a disaster were to go down?
The company who runs the ship says they'll have a special icebreaker boat running ahead of them, part of safety precautions that have been years in the making.
We started throwing about the idea about this about 4 years ago. And as we have been going closer and closer to the sail date, our planning has intensified. We have crossed every T and dotted every I, making sure that everything we can possibly think about when it comes to safety, first and foremost, the environment and the guest satisfaction have been thought about.
They're going to stop at places like this Canadian hamlet, home to only 400 people. But temperatures are increasing here, part of global warming. This is the amount of ice over the Arctic Sea in the winter. You can see it expand in colder temperatures. This year, the maximum ice cover was reached in March. If you compare that to the average amount of ice the area has had over the last 30 years, there's much less. 1.6 million square kilometres of winter ice has melted from the region since 1979. There are also fears for the environment. The company says it's using a special kind of fuel that would cause less damage in an oil spill, but may still be a problem if it leaks out.
This ship is opening the door to hundreds of more vessels in following years and essentially taking advantage of climate change to see an ecosystem that is on the verge of extinction because of the very thing this ship does, which is to emit vast amounts of carbon dioxide.
As people on these bigger ships head off on journeys to see things they've never seen before, people living along the remote coastline are also likely to experience unprecedented tourism. This journey could be good for business, but a risk in many other ways, one that at least 1,500 people are willing to take. Caroline Malone, Al Jazeera.